what he believes to be of quality. But there is, unseen by most, an episodic horror-based TV show. A show that still holds up. A show called Tales from the Darkside.
Well, Mr. Larchmont says that you wash away sins.
That is entirely correct. Our motto is, at Chow Ting's Laundry, everything comes out in the wash.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Talks from the Darkside, the podcast where we talk about the horror anthology television show Tales from the Darkside, created by George Romero and Richard Rubenstein. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Bahr.
Today we're talking about It All Comes Out in the Wash, written by Harvey Jacobs and directed by Frank De Palma, from May 26th, 1985.
Lies, guilt, stains.
Murder.
I want to say there's more going on in this episode than there is, but...
I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but the way that they do it is just... I mean, it's very on the nose, but like...
Yeah.
But like, it makes you hate the fucking main character. This is so bad.
This is like the most hated character I think of the... I mean, even more hated than Mr. Gums, I would say. This guy is just a royal POS.
I think he's a worse businessman, and he's not even a politician. He's just a fucking cutthroat businessman. Yeah. I think he's worse than Bo Gums.
I think he's buddies with the guys from 1 in a Million. Whatever.
Yeah, I'll give you $1 million.
Yeah,
he probably.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Son or nephew or cousin or something like that.
He's probably bought up their fucking stock when they ate it.
He probably did. After he got his laundry cleaned by someone we're going to talk about shortly.
Well, big time.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, James Hong himself is in this film.
The Chinese Dick Miller.
Yeah.
yeah, I could not.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah,
he's in everything.
He's legendary.
Yeah.
Absolutely legendary.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it made sense, the role that he was given, and like everything else he's in, he nails it. But I was like, holy shit, James Hong?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And if you don't know who James Hong is, I mean, the big one is Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China. But he's done, I mean, geez, I shouldn't have to look at this, but I want to.
Yeah.
He, like Wayne's World 2, he's did the Vineyard. He's done a ton of bit parts, like throughout the 50s and the 60s and 70s. And 80s and 90s and today. He's done a lot of Disney movies or Pixar or DreamWorks movies.
Yeah,
he
Kung
did
Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 and 3. What else? He was just in Turning Red. He was like the old Chinese grandpa
like, name
guy.
a movie, he might be in it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Most likely. I want to do like 6 Degrees of Separation with James Hong.
Oh man, that's pretty good. One that always comes to mind for me is Seinfeld, because he's in one of the more famous episodes, the Chinese restaurant episode, that he's constantly saying,
That's
Cartwright!
Yeah.
Cartwright!
Yeah.
While George Costanza's having a fucking meltdown.
Couldn't believe how many sitcoms he was in when we were going down the list. Also, Hannibal Chew in Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also in The Golden Child and The Jitters, the John Fasano movie that we were talking about. That's not Rock and Roll Nightmare or Black Roses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the Chinese vampires.
He played that role a few times then, I guess, right?
Well, maybe.
Oh.
Not sort of.
Save it for later. I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah. One that I didn't know he did, which was very interesting to me, is that he did the dub for Dr. Serizawa in Godzilla King of the Monsters for the American.
I had no idea about
the American release with Raymond Burr. Yeah, I was like, what?
That's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea he did
Again,
that.
he does everything.
He's uncredited.
Okay.
So I don't know if IMDb is full of shit or what.
I mean, that's happened before, but I'll take it.
It didn't happen before because I've already said sorry to Doug Jones about Jack Frost 2. I'm sorry, it's him on the boat.
Now he's not going to come on the show.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
he
man.
replied to my tweet.
Did he really?
Yeah, he liked it. He's like, nah, it's me. And I was like, okay, it's him. Confirmation, it's confirmed.
You blew it.
Yeah. There's also the main character is Vince Edwards. Now, I wanted to bring him up, too, because he's in Cellar Dweller. He's like the detective guy with the mustache. That's why you probably didn't recognize him.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched literally once as part of the watch along, patreon.com/movie dumpster. I wouldn't have fucking remembered that anyway, but thanks for the connecting tissue there, Joe.
He's also in The Fear, Return to Horror High, and To Die For 2, that vampire movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Son of Darkness, I
It
think that
pops
one's
up
called.
in here and there.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah. That's kind of, you know what you're getting.
Yeah,
when-
pretty much plays the same fucking character and everything.
Yeah.
kind of guy.
I feel like they gave him a script with like 4 or 5 lines and just told him to repeat them for 20 minutes, so he's not given a lot to work with in this.
Yeah.
Well,
So for this, it's like, how comfortable are you talking to yourself?
also, like, how are you just going to throw those racist comments in there?
Yeah,
Like,
did he
was-
come up with that, or was that
like,
in the script?
yeah, was
There's
that
a
him?
lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what about this Fangoria synopsis?
Let's do it. So here's the official Fangoria synopsis. A cutthroat businessman seeks to absolve his copious guilt through a most unusual method, a Chinese laundry service. It seems that in addition to ridding clients of ring around the collar, old Chow Ting washes away his patron's sins. But the unscrupulous merchant's clean conscience doesn't last, and he learns the implications of the adage, no ticky, no shirty. What? It actually says that.
No ticky, no shirty.
I've never heard
It's,
that.
now-
it's
now-
the 80s.
Now it's a racist fucking
Yeah,
synopsis.
Now they're getting on it.
They're like, remember that chopstick joke they make? That shit was hilarious.
Oh my god. Anyway, I mean, thanks Fangoria, we guess, from the 80s.
No ticky, no shoe. The fuck? Why would you put that?
I mean, there's some stuff, I don't know if we'll repeat it here, but there's some one-liners this guy fires off. They're like, God damn.
Yeah, of course there
I
will
mean-
be, because I mean it's fucked up, but like it's not like anything super derogatory.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
it was very much like of the time. Like when this came out,
big time.
85,
Yeah.
things were totally different.
Well, yeah.
And it's also like that stereotype a little bit even in this episode where the Chinese laundromat, element of it.
Not that it's an excuse, but it's the episode itself isn't racist though.
No,
you know what
no,
I'm
no.
saying?
Yeah.
And just before we really get into this,
it's even funnier like how it pans out.
agreed. I don't know about the music on the original airing, but I really like the music in this episode. The Chinese kind of style music they put into it.
Yeah, it has like the Oriental sound, but like I don't know how different it is from the original one. I think we have it on one of the tapes.
I think it's this one.
I think it's this
Volume
one.
3.
Yep.
All comes out in the
All
wash.
comes out in the wash on the Thriller video one. Yeah. I just want to apologize real quick. Like we're gonna keep doing that again because we used to do that a lot. With I would take the rip from the tape and then the DVD rip and then do the comparison. So we're gonna keep doing we're gonna do those again soon. So be on the lookout.
But I like the way this kind of just starts going immediately with, again, this shady ass businessman walking into this laundromat.
Yeah. Well, he gets like a tip off from his buddy when he was drunk about this laundromat, and he walks in, and it's right out of the gate. James Hong is just bringing it 100% because this guy walks in, Gropper, and he like rings the bell or whatever, and James Hong comes out, and he's like, oh, hello, and he's like, I was just watching this show about this woman in Florida who was about to win $100,000 on this spinning wheel. And it's Wheel of Fate or some shit like that.
The guy's like, all right.
He's like, don't you want to hear about if she won the $100,000 in that?
And this guy's like immediately like, yeah, I need some laundry done and yada yada.
My buddy Sam sent me.
Yeah, totally coming off as sketchy. This
Yeah.
guy's up to no good.
Yeah.
And you see like an immediate change in James Hong's face when he mentions the other guy. He's like, oh, so Sam said something.
Oh, Mr. Larchmont.
And-
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, you want the full service, and he breaks out the laundry prices,
the laundry price list.
with his damn face printed on it. I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it the first time they showed it, but the second time I was like, holy, James Hong, he put his fucking face up.
I love
Okay,
it so much.
Yeah.
Which is funny. And we were saying, like, for something that's supposed to be like shady and very exclusive, why put your face?
I
on-
think that's the gag,
Yeah.
right? Because at
Well, he put
any
his phone number on there too.
yeah, but at any point he could just cut them off.
That's true.
I'll get into the minutia of my thoughts later about what I think is going on here, but like I think that's just the goof. Like he knows exactly what he's doing with these businessmen and washing their clothes. I love this though because he takes the clothes out of the bag. He's like, I want to see your clothes. And he takes Gropper's clothes out and he's looking at them. And you can tell that, like, he's seeing all the dirty shit that this scumbag does.
The literal dirty laundry,
Like literally examining his dirty laundry. And he's like, how, hey, Ting, let me, how do you do that? How do you do the thing with the clothes with no sin, no guilt, or nothing? He's like, don't ask me that.
Don't
He's like,
question.
Yeah. Rule number 1, don't ask me how I do it. And rule number 2, don't ever call. And you can never come back.
Right.
Yeah,
After I
two
do
big
this.
rules for this little secret thing they're doing.
He picks up and delivers.
Well, that's what he says at least.
Yeah.
And the prices are like ridiculous. It's like $100 just to get it washed.
Delivery's
$300.
$2,000.
Wow.
Those are actual numbers from the episode.
Yeah. It increasingly goes up throughout, but yeah, it's expensive as shit. And like he tries to argue with James Hong, and he's like, "Well, you know what I'm really doing." And he's like, "Okay, I'll pay it. Whatever. Money's no problem."
Well, he's money's no object because he's like I can do anything I want. You're gonna wash the sin away from my clothes, and I'll have a clear conscience. He's like, you're gonna sleep like a newborn baby after we're done with your clothes.
And it's kind of implied that it's like because he's so like powerful and has all this money and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's implied that it's like now he has like even more just bad shit he's done.
He has no remorse now and no conscience. He doesn't have to. I mean, this piece of shit doesn't have a conscience, but like now he's super like over the edge, putting hits out on people as we come to find out, fucking other people's wives,
doing all sorts
of
stuff.
bad shit,
divorcing his own wife because it's time.
Well, the majority of this episode is this guy talking to himself and doing all this nasty, horrible shit where he's like, again, he's cheating on his wife with his best friend's wife, who's also a shrewd businessman, and puts a hit out on another guy because that guy's son tells his son that he kills seals and makes coats out of them.
Yeah.
And he's like, wouldn't you want to see it on a hot babe instead of
some dirty seal?
Some fat seal?
Yeah. Really trying to just cover the bases for bad stuff this guy's doing.
Stop crying. You're my son. You can't cry. And he's like, you keep fucking crying, I'm going to kill you, that bird you gave me for Father's Day or whatever.
Oh, God. This fucking parakeet called Eagle. That killed me.
Just a real scumbag.
I love how they have this secretary character for Gropper, Ginger.
Yeah.
Who is just always in the room, like, when he's saying, like, the most awful shit. And then, like, if this guy were ever to get sued, she has all this shit, like, in her head. And he's just like, oh, yeah, Ginger, you didn't hear any of that. Find out from Mr. Ting if he's going to get my laundry or not.
I also like that, like, she comes on to him, but he's like, get out of here. Vaporize. Get out of my fucking office. Yeah, vanish.
She's like, okay, I'll vanish.
He got a nice chest there, Mr. Gropper. And he's like, you too,
So
get the
do
fuck
you.
out.
Yeah, that was like a creepy line, but kind of funny.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole episode, though, this guy's taking off a shirt, putting on another shirt, taking off a shirt, what the fuck are you doing?
Because he's doing dirty shit in the shirts, and then he takes them off and has them washed.
Oh,
that's the thing.
That's the thing. As we go through the episode, he's like keeps changing, and he even says like, "Oh, I'm running out of laundry."
Yeah,
okay, that makes more sense now. I was like, why does this asshole keep changing his fucking shirt?
Yeah, well, he think it's attached to the shirt, basically, the sin, if you will.
Got ya.
So his buddy Sam Larchmont calls him, and Sam is the guy he's cheating on his wife with.
Right, and also the guy that 10 drinks deep.
No, wait. Sam is the guy whose wife Gropper is cheating on his wife with. So he's fucking his friend's
it's
wife.
Sort of this weird web and
yeah.
So he's like, hey, Sammy, baby. He's like, I went down to Chow Ting, took care of me real nice. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, the laundry place. He's like,
the guy he told me about.
He's like, you told him that I told you my name?
He's not going to be happy.
And he's like, oh my God. He's like, what did you do? He's like, you didn't tell anybody else, did you? He's like, no, why, what? He's like, you fucking idiot. He's like, you could have ruined the whole thing.
Well, he tells Ting straight up, like, I won't tell a soul.
Well, he tells Ting, and he's like, oh, I'm surprised Mr. Launchmont told you.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. That guy's freaking out, and he hangs up on him. He's like, I don't see what the big deal is. And then we kind of get that whole thing where you were just talking about, Joe, about, what about, about the seals with his son and everything. And he's like, what are you, there's another man turning his own, his friend's son against him?
Yeah, he puts a fucking hit out on his on his not
friend Joe or
not
whatever.
his friend, but like the other business guy, because he thinks that like the deal that he stole from the guy, that guy's jealous and getting his son
Yeah.
to come between him and his son by telling him all this shit about
Already
the seals.
trying to connect the dots here. It's like we're having a hard time going.
Only
over what it
because
was.
this guy's fucking crazy.
He's like a Scrooge kind of character,
Yeah,
honestly.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scrooge with a and a skyscraper and with
Yeah.
a phone line.
40th floor with a secretary. Yeah.
So he calls up his lawyer. He's like, look, baby, we got to turn Joe to fucking ash. Make this guy a bad memory. And he's like, okay.
And one ash.
Yeah.
It's like, I won't feel bad about it at all. Don't worry about it.
It's cool. I got this new laundry service.
Yeah. And like throughout the episode, there's a couple scenes where Ginger comes in and out, and you constantly see this like stock board where it's like his company keeps going up and
Profits.
up. Yeah, it's good.
And then you don't really know what they do.
It's a fur company, fur trading company.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. It was either that or real estate or something along those lines. Yeah,
Maybe that he's just bought a bunch of different businesses or whatever.
Okay.
Who the fuck
Because I thought
knows?
like fur was like a part of it or something.
I think it is a part of it.
Okay.
But yeah, that guy, come to find out, the hit went through.
Oh yeah, he's fucking
The secretary
DD.
comes in. Hey, was that everyone went?
Well, there's two. So
Yeah, this episode for some reason it's like
so that guy, there's a hit out on that guy,
Right.
and he tells his secretary to send his wife flowers and send his son something fluffy like a teddy bear with a black ribbon around its arm and say something nice like, I
you
don't
keep
know,
sending shit.
Uncle Fred.
Send him more.
And this is where I think he does have that line where he's like, yeah, let my wife know I'm divorcing her, but wait till tomorrow. Today's her birthday. I don't want to upset her.
Yeah, I'm feeling
I'm a
generous.
softy kind of guy.
Yeah, send us some flowers, but send her the divorce papers tomorrow.
It's kind of hilarious on some level.
Then he calls Sam Larchmont's wife, who he's cheating on his wife with. And he's like, hey, I know Sam's my best friend, but I love him, but I'm also in love with his wife. You want to go for some lobsters and some hanky pankies later?
It's like, okay.
This is like the kind of guy who'd use the term hanky panky.
Oh, yeah.
Just some sleazy, gross guy. Yeah.
To 100, this guy.
Yeah.
And another thing throughout the episode is like, where the hell's Ting? He says he has delivery. He's not delivering my laundry.
Oh, first he calls him the Oriental Express.
Oh, yeah, he's like, where's the
Yeah.
Oriental Express to drop off my laundry?
So then he calls him, and Sam's like, you better not call him. So then he does, and then you've come to find out he doesn't pick up, but he's like, I can't believe you doubled your prices because I called you.
When I mentioned your name, he nearly dropped his chopsticks, he says.
There's another one. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I mean, again, I think both of you have said it. I've kind of said it. They want you to hate this fucking
Oh,
character.
I know. It just adds
hardcore.
another layer.
Yeah.
So all these shirts are building up in his office because
Oh,
Chow Ting's raising his prices and he's not picking up and delivering fast enough because this guy's just committing too many fucking pieces of
You
shit.
can't keep up with him.
He can't keep up.
Yeah.
And there's just piles of clothes all over the office.
It's like a goddamn dorm room.
He's resorted to buying new shirts, in brand new boxes,
Yeah.
and taking them out. He's like, "Oh, thank God I got reserve shirts, baby."
Yeah.
And that'll come up later. So like Sean said, he calls Chow Ting and he leaves him a message and doesn't call him back. But Sam calls him and he's like, did you call Chow Ting? He's like, yeah, what? I left him a message. He didn't pick up my fucking laundry. I tell you what, man, we got to band together. We got to strong arm this fucking guy. He's like, you're great. He starts crying on the other line, on the other end of the line. And he just hangs up on him. And he's like, Sam Larchmont crying? He's like, what the fuck happened?
We never really find out.
Not even 10 minutes, not even 5 seconds, 10 seconds later, the secretary comes in and she's like, Sam Larchmont jumped to his fucking death.
86 floors.
86
Oh my
floors.
God. At this point, it's tripled in prices.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow. Huh. Oh, that's horrible.
He's like, that's fucking terrible. Put a bid on Sam's stocks for me, would you there, kiddo? Then
Just jumping right on it.
Sorry,
Taking
Sam.
that
Oh
bit,
my
yeah.
God. Then he calls the wife that he's sleeping with and he's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. No, I won't take all your money. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it wouldn't took his stocks.
yeah.
And he's like, a note. You found a note. And she's like, yeah. Well, it's the phone thing where he's
miming
miming the conversation.
They do that a lot.
He's like,
on
a
the show.
laundry list? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that is. So finally, he gets a call back from Chow Ting.
Well, first,
what?
he calls Chow again because he's trying to run through his head how to beat this guy. And he's like, oh, I told him I wouldn't tell a soul.
Oh.
He wants my soul.
right.
Yeah, and this came out of like this was like, what is happening
But-
right here?
But now he's gone off the deep end. He's
completely.
again, he's connected all these dots, all this crazy shit to do all this horrible stuff, and now he's like, oh, it's my soul he wants, of course.
But he's like
Makes
connecting
sense.
dots like somebody's chicken pox, just like connecting shit that doesn't actually connect.
Exactly.
He's like, Sam killed himself because he wanted his soul, obviously.
And what does he say? Murder builds character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right, though, Joe. He does call James Hong, and he doesn't get a response again, but he leaves a message like, yeah, you want my soul? You can have it. Just come pick up the damn laundry.
You can have it, baby. Take all that sin away from me. It's yours. So his secretary's like, it's Chow Ting. And he's like, oh my God, finally he's here. And he's like grabbing all the shirts. He's ready to bring it down. She's like, no, he's on the phone.
Yeah.
He picks it up. He's like, hey, Chow, baby.
Hey, Joe, buddy, baby.
And he's down to he has this undershirt on, and every other shirt that he owns is just in a pile strewn all over the place.
He's like, oh, Mr. Gropper. He's like, I was on the phone with that nice call waiting music. And he's like, oh, it turns out, I don't want your soul, and I don't want your laundry either. Turns out I'm not in the laundry business anymore because I won the lottery,
Yeah.
Mr. Gropper, and I'm moving to, what is it?
Where'd he go?
Baskin.
It was like
what was that?
Florida or some
It's
shit,
Florida,
right?
but it's, you said it, he says it.
Oh, Bengal Bay.
Bang.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or some
Something
shit.
like that. Whatever it was.
And he's like, I'm taking Miss Ting down to the fucking Florida.
Yeah, I'm
And
retired.
I'm a man of leisure now. So, fuck you.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Chow Tings is out of business.
Sayonara.
Yeah. He's like, wait, that's some Japanese.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was great. So the final part, this fucking killed me.
I love how Gropper says that after he gets on the phone. He's
Like,
like,
right
wait,
off the phone.
sayonara? That's not Chinese.
Wait a minute.
So this guy finally is like, what else can he do? And is maybe like realizing why Sam did what he
man.
did. And he's like, well, I'm gonna go to the other guy now. He can get a stain, because there's a joke earlier where his secretary's like, why don't you go to this guy instead? He got the stain out of my dress. He's like, I don't want to go there. So now he's like, I'll go to the other guy. He can get a stain out. Wait, I could leave a stain. I'll leave a stain. It's like, okay.
A Carl Gropper stain.
And I love how he this isn't the line verbatim, but he fucking dolphin dives through the plate glass, and he turns to this parakeet and he goes, "So long, eagle."
Yeah. He flies out the window.
It's like, holy shit.
It's one of those things again where he keeps putting the pieces together in all the wrong orders and
Yeah.
making all these terrible decisions, and then it finally culminates in him fucking killing himself.
Because I guess his sins catch up to him.
No, I think he's just a fucking nut, is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Now, my whole thing with Chow Ting is that Chow Ting has no magic power whatsoever, and it's just a fucking farce to all these businessmen.
Like a
That could be it.
placebo.
And it's like, oh, of course I'll take your clothes and wash the sin out of it. You're going to trust me. It's ancient Chinese magic, of course.
You'll sleep easier knowing that you paid a lot of money to get rid of your sins. It's like a glorified confession almost.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Where it's like you're kind of letting it off your shoulders.
Yeah, it's a magical placebo because now you take it off your head it's like reverse psychology almost.
Mm.
Maybe not reverse psychology, but it is a psychological.
Well, that's
tact.
basically what a placebo is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he's full of shit, and he's making a huge buck off these fucking big businessman idiots.
I mean,
Enough to retire.
Big
Wow,
time.
yeah,
with
and,
his wife.
and the lottery.
Yeah.
he's set for the rest of his days.
And I think that's at least that's how I took it.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't win the literal lottery.
Yeah.
It was more of a metaphorical lottery of
Oh.
all these guys doing bad stuff and he's cashing in.
And hopefully
That's a good
telling
point.
each other and putting the mystique around it of don't tell anybody about this.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how I do it. It's an ancient secret or whatever. And on these ridiculous prices and just triggering that in their brains. Well, of course it's expensive
Mm.
and this guy's going to magically wash my clothes or something because it's a well-kept secret or some shit,
See, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good thought that you guys are putting out there. I was just thinking, going back to when he's talking about watching the game show to win money. That
Oh,
he's,
well,
just,
sure.
he's into
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could go either way on that. Either he made his fortune off these rich assholes, or maybe he did hit the lottery. Or either way, he's out of their fucking lives. They're fucked.
I don't think he's actually
He can't shoot lightning out of his fingertips, as far as we know. Not yet, at least.
that happens after he goes down to Florida for sure.
Obviously.
Yeah. So what do we all think of this one?
I think it's kind of not that good, honestly.
What?
James Hong's great, but he's barely in it, and every line out of his mouth is hilarious. And just for some reason, the fucking parakeet being called Eagle, I don't know why I'm hung up on that, but I just thought that was really like some subtle comedy in this episode that's, for the most part, pretty serious. But I don't know, like, this is like, I wouldn't go so far to say it's forgettable by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just kind of like, not a lot really happens. Just some like asshole who thinks he's like getting away with murder and being a douchebag, but he's like, I don't know, he just kills himself at the end. I don't know, like, it's memorable, don't get me wrong, but it's not one of like, I'm not reaching for this one. I would skip this one in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Yeah, same.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And let me start it off. I love James Hong.
Yeah.
The scenes in the laundry are great. It's like as soon as he comes out, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a fun little fun time. But as soon as this guy goes back to his office, that's when it loses me. It's like the guy's just on the phone with people or talking to himself. And I get what they're doing with like the metaphor of like dirty laundry.
Sure.
And all like I get it, appreciate it, but it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like not hard to follow because you can kind of keep up with it. But I think it's just him talking to himself, or he's just on the phone with not a whole lot going on. James Hong is the draw for me for this episode.
Sure.
But it just loses me. It's like, this is like, I'll put this on if I want to go to sleep. And it's like, it's not a bad episode. It's just, it's boring.
Okay. I like, I don't love this episode, but I like it a lot. This is interesting for this series because there's a supernatural element that's not necessarily supernatural. Like I said, like, I don't think Chow Ting is actually washing away these sins with any Chinese magic or anything. I think he's just duping these fucking people. And the episode is more about how is the madness that we create ourselves and the descent that this business guy gives himself.
Okay.
He falls down his own fucking hole because he thinks he has a free pass on life to just do whatever the fuck he wants. And I think that ultimately the joke is on him. But again, like, if he kept washing his clothes, he'd still feel the same.
Yeah, it's like if he could get away with it, he'd just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But now that Chow Ting's retired, he's like, oh, I'll never be free of my sin again, and just ends up killing himself. But it's more about his descent into madness of his own doing rather than the fact that Chow Ting isn't washing his sins away. Because I don't think he's actually doing that.
No.
So that's what's unique to this episode for me, is that it's not a supernatural anything. It's literally the power of the human mind running away with itself.
Yeah.
You know?
And even though I'm not crazy about this episode, I'm not huge. It's not one of my favorites.
No, sure.
I do think it's essential in the as a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
In Tales from the Darkside, it's like we need more episodes like this to just round out all these different genres and tones that we're gonna have through this series.
100%. That dirty sin-filled sock in the stew, in the
And
Tales
even-
from Darkside stew.
Yeah. And even like the idea of like, oh, is he actually doing some like magic here, or is it just like a mind trick?
Yeah.
And it's like, let's have
up
that.
to you.
Have that
Yeah.
mystery there. It's like,
I think
this
it's the best part, though, is that you don't really know what's going on. And again, James Hong is just fucking so good.
Yeah.
And I love it so much that I had to fucking make his price list.
Oh, well, that's my favorite part.
If I missed meeting James Hong once, if I get the chance again, that is what's coming with me for him to sign.
Yeah, I mean,
of all things.
Of all the things.
Wow.
Remember that Tales from the Darkside episode you did? Even though you were been in like 700 fucking movie
It's probably
roles?
about right 700.
Yeah.
I'll lend you my copy of Big Trouble in Little China if you don't mind getting that signed from your The Golden Child. Maybe I'll get
Possibly.
Yeah, those would be the two I get signed, but okay.
It's just so it would just be a weird piece to have. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like just that. Like if you got Keith David to sign your copy of Mass Effect, why not? I guess.
Well, there's also something funny about like catching someone off guard, like a celebrity or an actor off guard, especially like not really well-known celebrities.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this story.
Oh yeah.
It's like just surprise, like if they're there for say like at a convention for like Walking Dead or like something that they're more well-known for. So tell the Shannon Elizabeth story.
Oh God.
Oh,
that was a
Christ.
negative one. But I have a good one.
Okay.
So we went to I believe it was Chiller Theater when it was still in Parsippany, New Jersey. Or no, it moved to Parsippany. It used to be in
Cherry Hill.
No, it used to be in East Rutherford.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I go in and Shannon Elizabeth's there, and I don't want American Pie signed. I'm definitely not going to get the Night of the Demons.
That's why everybody's there.
Remake. Yeah, like not for nothing. Like I think she's fun, or like Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back or something like that. What do I want signed? My fucking Jack Frost VHS.
Oh god, with the fucking carrot in the vagina.
She was so sweet, and I was talking to her, and we had a good rapport. We were talking, and then I pulled out the tape for her to sign it, and her fucking face just melted like ice cream in the sun into this frown,
or like a snowman,
a snow cone. And she signed it. She took my money, but then that was the end of the conversation. She did not want to talk to me anymore, and that was it. I don't know if she's warmed up to it at all, but.
Warmed up to it.
Maybe.
Wait, is that the copy?
That's the copy right there.
Oh, yeah.
Pull that out. Just grab it.
Careful.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Bring the whole damn shelf
I
down.
didn't realize it was not bolted to the wall. I don't know if you could even see that on camera.
Yeah, there it is.
Which also makes an appearance on our Trash in the Snow special with Haggerty and Dobby.
Oh yeah, big time.
Jack Frost! Oh, Jack Frost! With the puppets! Oh, I adore it! I used to watch it every Christmas until Mr. Malfoy found out and beat me within an inch of my life. Not a very happy memory for Dobby. I'm sure Charnitz is gonna do a lot worse to you, buddy. Okay.
But actually, just real quick, I had a great experience with Denise Crosby from Pet Sematary, and she was there for The Walking Dead, so she had like a line out the fucking door for and of course Star Trek TNG. But I had a Dolly Dearest poster that I brought to her, and she was so psyched to see it.
Cool.
She was like, I loved working on that film, and it was just really nice. You know what I mean? And she was psyched. And when I brought Anthony Michael Hall my a Gnome Named Norm poster to sign, he was cool about it too. Yeah. He was like talking about Stan Winston and working with him and shit, and like I feel like that's something that none of those people talk about.
Yeah,
you know. So it's always fun to do that because I actually love the movies. It's not just to be a jackass, like you know what I mean.
It's like a part
maybe
of their
this
career.
one.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people are like go after their bigger known stuff. Like for him, Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah,
sure.
But then
100%.
it's like, but for all of us,
or
it's
Weird
like,
Science or something.
Yeah, Gnome Named Norm. It's like we don't want to talk about Breakfast Club.
Hell no. I want to talk about this weird fucking gnome movie.
Yeah.
Just like with James Hahn, if you ever get to meet him.
There it goes. How remember that time when you were that Chinese magician who like washed away people's sins in the laundromat?
I wonder if he'd actually remember it.
I'm sure.
Only because of all the stuff he's done.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, where does this fit in the timeline?
And he's only got that one scene. The rest is VO.
But I think like this would spark it. Like if me just bringing it up was one thing,
Right.
I think he would remember Tales from the Dark
or at
Side.
least appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. It all comes out in the wash. But until next time, I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Bahr.
Tales from the Dark Side is always there, waiting for us to watch it, waiting for us to hit play. Until next time, try to find it on DVD and watch along with us.